Hi, everyone, and welcome to Parents Engaging Parents Beloved Community Check-In. My name is Erica Beverett, and I am checking in from the P office again. Tonight, we're going to be having our special guest, once again, New Jersey SNAP educator Victoria Lotato from the Community Food Bank. Who is sponsoring our event for tonight. And we're going to be talking about stretching our food dollars. But before that, I would love to share all about what Parents Engaging Parents is about. And we are here to promote civic awareness and proactive community action based on the interests of parents and community. We are working, I don't want to say, I'm going to say um, fervently, that's going to be the word, on getting to communities all across New Jersey, giving out backpacks and school supplies is going to be one of the things, but also, of course, giving out the understanding of civic engagement, what that entails. And we've had the pleasure of engaging two young ladies from Trenton. Shout out to Samaje and Gabby. They are powerful leaders, and we have quite a few things going on throughout the community. And of course, we can't forget Miss Elise, who's always out in the community of East Orange, giving away healthy foods and fruits and fresh produce all year round. She does not stop except for her birthday. So she actually will be back in the community and will be posting where she'll be and when she'll be there. So I'm going to bring Victoria to our platform, and she's going to introduce stretching our food dollars because, of course, we know that inflation is very real, and we're all being affected by inflation. Of course, food costs have gone up, and so she's going to share with us today how we can line our pockets a little bit more by saving more and making good choices. I should say that. Making good choices. So, hi, Victoria. How are you today? Oh, I think you're muted.
Lord, this is like the third time I've done it. Hi, Erica. Hey, everyone out there
It's
on
all
social
great.
media land. As Erica said, my name is Victoria Lodato. I'm a nutrition educator working with SNAP Ed and the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And today's lesson is actually one of my favorites, and I've put every word and every practice in this lesson into my daily life, and it has helped me save a lot of money while shopping for produce. Alrighty. Erica, whenever you're ready, if we could go ahead and perfect. You read my mind. Alrighty. Wrong presentation.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Technical
That was
difficulties.
last week. That was probably maybe a refresher.
Here we go. Give me 1 second. I'll go ahead and insert. Not that. Okay.
Okay, well, I have a couple of things that I know that I can talk about while Victoria gets the presentation up on screen. I know I said that there are many things that we have going on, and shout out to Memphis Lift because we're going to be running out to Tennessee to go visit them this weekend and engage with them. So shout out to you. Memphis Lift and parents out there. We are so excited to engage with you over this coming weekend. And also, we are going to be having a play coming up on August 20th. It's going to be called Young Harlem. I am actually going to put that flyer up on screen. And it is Young Harlem. It's a story about two young men. Not sure if you might recognize them, but if you don't, I'll give you a clue. One has the last name of Red, and the other one has the last name of X. So if by any chance you out there in on Facebook or on Instagram or in YouTube, maybe you might know who it is this is, and maybe you might be able to get a free ticket if you could give us the first names of those two people that are up there. Last name is Red, last name is X. So we're looking for their first names. Who do you think it is? So yes, so this stage play is actually given by MKW Ministries, and it is all about these two young men who are from Harlem, and they are actually pillars in our community. And I can't say their first names, so this is a little bit tough for me. But we're gonna see how they navigated the time in their lives. They were very respected um, in movement, and one of them became a political leader, and the other one was a comedian. So now I gave you two different clues. So I'm going to take this banner down. Hopefully, you've gotten some of that information, and we'll be sending it out over on social media and, of course, through an email. And I'm going to put this down, and I believe that Victoria is all set up, stretching her food dollars.
Yes, I'm all ready if we want to go ahead and start sharing that slide. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, Erica. So, as mentioned before, I am Victoria Lodato, nutrition educator with SNAP Ed and the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And as always, we like to share that we are a part of the USDA program, and we follow in the practice for and justice for all, where we do not discriminate based on age, race, color, national origin, political belief, religious creed, disability, age, etc., for any of our workshops. And for today's lesson, we're going to start off with a welcome and icebreaker. As always, we'll go into the stretching and food dollars lesson. I have a little activity for everyone to be able to participate in. As always, we have a recipe. Today's is very delicious. It is a fruity banana smoothie. We'll have a questions and answers segment followed by our survey at the end. And I want to shout out those who have been completing the survey for us after each and every lesson. Your responses are gratefully appreciated, and we appreciate you guys taking the time to assist us. So as always with our Just Say Yes curriculum, it is aimed to help you eat healthy even in these uncertain times, especially with inflation going on. As Erica mentioned, this lesson's fantastic, and we'll give you guys some tips and tricks. With JSY, it is a SNAP Ed program that aims to support healthy living through the promotion of increased fruit and vegetable consumption. For more information on the curriculum, please visit jsyfruitveggies.org for so many wonderful recipes, tips, and tricks. And then if you need any help accessing food, please visit our website at cfbnj.org. We're always here to help. So let's go ahead and dive right in, everyone. So my little icebreaker for everyone today is, what are some foods that you feel are both expensive and inexpensive?
And you, please, if you're tuning in, good evening on Facebook. Please, you could feel free to answer in the chat. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are some foods do you feel are expensive? I would say seafood.
Seafood is definitely on that more expensive side. You always have to look out for those wonderful deals and steals, looking out for those coupons, flyers, etc., to see what is on sale. It's one of the great ways to save. I also even recommend frozen seafood is a wonderful source as well, because let's not forget, seafood is another great source of protein, and we always recommend to try to aim to eat seafood at least 2 to 3 times a week for all of those different nutrients that you're missing. And it's a great source of protein, like I believe I did just mention, I can't remember right now. um, Also thinking on that line, I've been finding that chicken has become quite expensive. I was just having a conversation with a colleague where I feel as though I have not seen chicken at ShopRite go less than $2.99 when it used to go on sale at least once a month for $1.99. I miss those
Hmm.
days.
Yes. Yes. Hmm. So I would say another food that is expensive would be fruits. I find, oop, bless you.
Thank you.
I feel like fruits are super expensive right now. I don't know about
Mhm.
you, but I'm feeling like, why am I spending $7 on a watermelon?
Yes, no, I agree with that one as well. It's kind of difficult to manage those produce, and we will touch base on different ways to save on produce during this presentation. One of my favorite ones is shopping at farmers markets, especially during the summertime. You find that you can get your best deals and steals at farmers markets. Number one, you're supporting a local farmer, and number two, the prices are fantastic because they essentially just want to make sure that that produce is being consumed and not going to waste.
Hmm.
While we're on the topic of produce, I actually find that our canned fruits and vegetables can be very inexpensive, and I have not seen a big price hike on them either.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good to know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I usually like to get the canned corn. I'm like a
Love.
canned corn and canned peas type of girl.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm also trying to think, canned beans for the life of me. No matter how
Mhm.
many different times I've tried cooking beans, I can never figure out how to make them properly from dried. So I'm a big canned beans girl fan.
Mm. Yeah, and you can't go wrong with those.
No, and they're nice because they are already pre-cooked. So if you're making like a pasta salad or something cold, you can easily just throw in those beans or those or that corn in there, and it's ready to go. You don't need to spend that little extra time cooking it unless I totally understand if you do like to cook them. I do like my beans warm majority of the time.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, Miss Elise was cooking with the seniors this week, and she was making a black bean salad.
Delicious.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've actually been seeing a recipe for like a black bean watermelon salad. I've been seeing a lot of watermelon salads this summer, which is really cool because it's something different that you can find. And watermelons typically come pretty large. So you kind of want to make sure that you use it before it goes bad. So it's a different way to start incorporating that more into your diet.
Mhm. For sure.
How about our
Hmm.
friends out there on Facebook or Zoom? Do you guys have any experience as to what could be what you foods you find are expensive are inexpensive?
Hmm. What foods are expensive or inexpensive?
It doesn't have to be foods that you're also purchasing at the grocery store. It could also be foods when you're out, like fast foods or even stopping at a restaurant. I know for areas around me, pizza prices have gone up drastically. For a pie, it's probably like an extra $5 or $6.
Yeah. Hi, Drusilla Morgan. Good evening. Drusilla is always tuning in with us. Um, she is, I know that she's from Cumberland County, so shout out to Cumberland County. Yeah, so we're trying to figure out what the climate is with you guys. What foods do you think are expensive or inexpensive?
One thing that I know I can always find to be inexpensive is definitely those fast food chains, McDonald's, Burger King. I have not really seen that big of a price increase with them, and they always have that dollar menu, the 4 for 4 from Wendy's, the biggie bag. There's so many different ways that you can save on fast food. However, it we have to keep in mind it's not the healthiest for us to eat on a daily basis.
Yeah, you know what? I have noticed the increase in the fast food as well. I try not to do it as often.
Hmm.
I try to do well. I mostly do like fast food, and yeah, McDonald's. Probably like once a month, and sometimes I'll go for stretches of like 3 months span
Hmm.
when I'm really good, but lately not so good.
I know the French
um,
fries, they get you.
hmm So I see Cardona Aguilera. Shout out to you. Hello, Marta. That's my sister from Trenton, and she says fruits, vegetables, and nuts are expensive, but fast food is the cheapest.
Yes.
Mm,
Sadly, our nuts are very expensive as well. I know we did touch base on those fruits and vegetables earlier, how they are a bit expensive, but nuts, they're just ones that we'll never probably see a price drop in those. It's just, it's difficult to obtain nuts, it's difficult to harvest them. So it is why they are typically expensive. But again, we'll review some great ways in order to try and save on them. And nuts are fantastic also. I do like keeping them in my house because they are a great source of protein, especially for snacks. I love having some almonds with cheese and crackers.
mhm.
Gets a little saltiness to it, and incorporating that protein into our diet.
And Francis Kenny said, "Hello, hi. What foods do you think are expensive, Francis, or inexpensive?"
I'm just thinking off the top of my head too. I find that frozen meals like the TV dinners are also pretty inexpensive as well.
Mm.
Again,
Yeah, I usually don't go towards the TV dinners.
however, frozen pizza, anything pizza will get me. I can't go
Mm-hmm.
down that aisle because I will walk out with like some Totino's pizza rolls or like a big Elio's pizza. They're my favorite. Hi,
Mm.
Elise. Nice to see you.
Hi, Elise. Good evening. I already told Victoria about your black bean salad.
That sounds delicious. We got to share that recipe.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Yes. Thank you for sharing, Cardona. Yes, she had commented that she bought a bag of almonds and pistachios today, and the bags were each $6.99 plus tax. So yeah, our nuts and seeds are pretty expensive out there.
very.
Again, they're very difficult to harvest, very difficult to obtain. Typically, we do have to receive them from overseas, so that's why they are always a bit pricier. Just going off of nuts and seeds, also, I find that our non dairy based non dairy, excuse me, give me one second, non dairy based milks, like our
Mm-hmm.
almond milk and our oat milks, are typically more expensive than just purchasing regular milk. And it is a bit sad because we do have a large population of individuals whom are lactose intolerant or
Yeah.
dairy free. So it would be nice if we could see a good comparison between those. But again, that's something that's very difficult to make, very difficult to obtain. So there is always going to be a price hike on those as well.
Yeah, I could tell you that actually my family my son drinks milk, but yeah, I have to do the lactate, right? And
Mhm.
then my daughter, she's like more of a oat milk kind of girl.
Well,
So those two different milks, it's like
Mhm.
okay, that's
And there's lots of videos on how
a
to
lot
make your
of
own oat milk at home, which could be cheaper in the end. It just does take some time to make.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe I'll encourage her to do it because she likes doing
Give it a
playing
try.
around in
You
the
can make it
kitchen.
as sweet or as diluted as you would like. I
Hmm.
see like a lot of people adding like dates to the recipe to give it that sweetness versus adding like a vanilla extract.
Mm.
There seems to be some pretty fun recipes out there.
Hmm. So I'm gonna tell you what inexpensive for me. I was actually on my way to work, and and I decided to take the long road. So because it's like a lot of farmland, so I was like, oh, you know what? Let me just zen out a little bit. Like that was kind of like my moment. So I actually got a chance to stop at a farm stand, and it was actually just a home. Maybe their farmland was more in the back, but I stopped there and got to engage with, and I believe her name is Lindsay. Lindsay, and she had her stand out there, and let me tell you something. I got these humongous squashes, like zucchinis. Like I'm gonna show them to you. Like I have them in my hand right now. Like look how big this thing
That
is.
is
It's
fantastic.
huge, right? So I was like, they were so like inexpensive, like
Mhm,
compared to what the supermarket has to offer. If you think about it, okay, this it feels like every bit of 3 pounds,
mhm,
at least 2 pounds. And if you think about it as $2, that would be like $4 I would have spent on one. I spent $2 on one.
mhm.
So it's just like simple donation. So shout out to you, Miss Lindsay, out there in Mount Holly, down that old country road. I always stopped, and it was great that I was able to engage with her as well.
Mhm. And it's
And it
always
was
wonderful to support local farmers as well.
hmm. And if you're out there listening and tuning in, please, please, please hit the like and share button, and share what we're talking about today.
Alrighty. Well,
Okay.
thank you all for the engagement in our icebreaker. It's one of my favorite conversations to have, see where we all stand on the different prices of food and how we all compare and view pretty much the same thing. Um, Before we get into any lesson, I always like to take a reminder for our My Plate, which consists of fruits, vegetables, greens, protein, and dairy products. Remember to make half of your plate fruits and vegetables, eating the rainbow, like we discussed in our first lesson. Grains, try to make half of your grains whole grains. Protein, varying those proteins with animal proteins and plant based proteins, as well as our dairy products, try to make them low fat or skim. So, when we're discussing different ways to save at the grocery store, one of the best ways is to save on that on your fruit and vegetable budget. They are on the more expensive side, but we have just a few tips for you guys, and we'll go ahead and review them. So the first one is to choose fruits and vegetables that are in season. Here in the Garden State, we do have various seasoning times for our fruits and vegetables, and I do have a wonderful chart to share with you guys in just a little bit, and we can review them a little closer just to see what we actually grow in New Jersey. It's pretty astonishing, in my opinion. The next thing is to look for promotions in the store circulars. I know for myself, ShopRite's having a great sale on mangoes. They're 50 cents each when typically they're like $2 each. So it's great to take a minute, review those flyers, those circulars that are coming around, seeing what's available, what's on sale. Another thing that you guys can do is to plan your meals, and it'll help you create a grocery list. When you kind of have an idea of what your meals are going to be for the week, you have a better understanding of what you're actually going to need to purchase. So that doesn't just include your three basic meals of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That also includes your snacks that you're going to be consuming every day. The next one is to buy frozen and canned produce for items that are out of season. Like I mentioned before, canned fruits and vegetables are a fantastic source for all their nutrients and vitamins and minerals. When they are, for both frozen and canned, when that produce is picked, they're cleaned and then flash frozen right at the peak of when they're picked. So they're very healthy and nutritious for us. However, to keep in mind when you're buying the frozen and canned produce, to try to limit to no salt added, low sodium, 100% juice, and no heavy syrups.
Mm.
Another way, if you do have a larger family and if you're able to store and be able to consume all your fresh produce, is to try and buy in bulk. What I always recommend to do is if you don't find yourself that you're going to be able to eat it or consume it quick enough, freeze that fruit or vegetable. It'll be exactly the same. I typically find to do that with my strawberries. If I don't find myself eating them quick enough, I will actually throw them in the freeze, wash them off, throw them in the freezer, and then I'll use them in a smoothie. So then I don't have to go out and buy any other type of fruit or vegetable. And they're also perfect when they're just past that peak of ripeness also when they're starting to get a little more on the dented side. I love doing that. It also includes bananas, blueberries, any type of fruit or vegetable you can do. Peppers, you can also slice those up and throw them in the freezer as well. There's so many different things that you can do to try to eliminate waste as well as utilizing those produce. Another thing to do is buying generic brands. This kind of goes for those canned frozen products. The store brand is just the same as purchasing that name brand. You're probably going to save a lot of extra money just by purchasing that generic brand. And then lastly is to buy unprepared foods. So what I mean with unprepared foods is when you're at the grocery store in the produce section and you see that chopped up onion, that chopped up pepper, try to resist the urge to not do it, to not purchase those. Just because you're essentially paying someone else to do a job that you can simply do yourself. It only takes a few extra minutes, and you'll probably save like a good couple of dollars on that alone. Does anyone have any questions or any other suggestions when buying fruits and vegetables on a budget?
Hmm. Well, I know where I go wrong, and that's not making that grocery list. I'm terrible with that. I'll go and pick up everything in the store.
Yes.
I'll go pick up everything in the store. Miss Elise says that she sent the recipe over. Thank you, Miss Elise. Okay, you sent it. Mm.
I know
Anybody else
one.
have any questions?
I know one for myself. For New Jersey, especially, our berries are only good when it's during the summer months. So I really go wrong in the winter and always purchase. I always manage to purchase strawberries just because I always want that craving. That sweet tooth kind of gets me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So when the price, so when fruits and vegetables aren't in season, we actually get a price hike on them because they have to be shipped over from overseas in or where they are currently in season. So it's the taxation to get them over here. It's the shipping costs. So that's why the prices are a bit higher when it's in the off season.
Drusilla said she's using her coupons.
Coupons are a great way to help us save some
Mhm.
money. Like we did mention before, those store circulars come in handy. I even sometimes, before I even decide to, or even loading the app, yes, you are right, Drusilla.
Mhm.
Just having that store app with the membership with that store helps us save a lot of money as well because they could have special coupons and savings. I know with ShopRite, they do have special coupons that are only available on the app. So
Mhm.
they're a great way to help us save money.
Yep. And what I like about that is you don't lose them.
Yes,
I'm like
exactly.
terrible. Like I'll bring the coupons with me and then put them in my purse and then
Hmm.
they
Or
disappear.
even like the ones that you get from like the grocery store after you check out. I always put them on my refrigerator so I know when before I go looking through my refrigerator to see what I need. Hey, these are the coupons I need to try to use before they
Right.
expire.
Right. Yep. That's a good way to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because those are usually bigger coupons. Those store
Yes.
coupons usually sometimes like up to $1 or $1.50, depending on what
Hmm.
it is.
And dependent on
You
what's
can
on
have it.
sale, I might even just buy a little bit more of it just so that I have it at home and I don't have to go out and purchase it at another time. For example, like my oils and vinegars, when I see those are on sale, or my salad dressings that I don't make at home, I'll go out and purchase those in bulk again as well, just to make sure that I have enough that could last me until the next sale comes around.
Mm-hmm. Christina Aguilera says, Oh yeah, she likes. And there's two fruits that she dislikes having to overpay for on the off season, and that's
Mhm.
watermelon and mangoes. Yeah.
Yes, I strictly only eat watermelon in the summer, specifically
Hmm.
because that is when it is in season,
Hmm.
and I am able to pay less for it. And mangoes, like I mentioned before, if anyone has a shop right near them, mangoes are 50 cents each right now. So run, don't walk.
Oh, oh, okay. Thanks. That's a good to
Fun
know.
fact, I looked that one up today.
That's a good to know. And you can get
Mhm.
them green. Get them green. It's okay. Let them
Yes,
ripen. Put them next
and
to
a
your
little.
bananas.
Yes. Another fun trick is that with our mangoes, mangoes and peaches specifically, let them ripen out of the fridge. This way they get to their full ripeness, and then you can throw them in the fridge and they'll last a little longer if you're not ready to eat them yet.
Hmm.
But thank you all for your engagement as always. And then just a little reminder from our My Plate, it is important to always try and eat at least 5 cups of fruits and vegetables daily. So that's about 2.5 cups of vegetables and then 2 cups of fruit. Now, before I did mention that New Jersey has, well, number one, New Jersey is the garden state, and we have so many different fruits and vegetables that we actually grow in our state. So here is our seasonality example of our seasonality chart of when it is best to go ahead and enjoy these and when they're going to be the cheapest at the supermarket. So, for example, our first one are apples. Apples are in season between July and December, and that's typically when you see an abundance of them at the grocery store. Um, and then, like I mentioned before, a lot of our berries, our cherries, typically come in at our summer months, so they're perfect for consumption between the months of June and August. Cranberry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Cranberries are actually later on in the season when they're ready to be harvested. I typically like to think of it as Thanksgiving time,
Mm,
between September and November. Perfect time to make some cranberry sauce.
yes.
Grapes. As sad as this is, and excuse me, but grapes are actually in season between the months of August and September. I only know this because my grandparents out in Portugal were wine harvesters. So I remember being out there during the summer and being able to pick the grapes off the vines just right towards the end of summer before coming home for school. So that's how I associate grapes.
Oh,
We all have our
that's
own
good to
little
know.
niches.
Yeah.
And then those are just some of our fruits. However, our vegetables we actually grow the most in the state of New Jersey. As you can see, a lot of green vegetables. And as you can see, a lot of our vegetables are perfectly grown throughout the entire year.
Mm,
And then the list is just a little bit too big for one slide, so we did go ahead and compress it onto a second slide. The best example that I also have for this one is sweet corn. It
mhm.
we typically start to see it coming into rotation more during the summer months. As you can see, between um, it is between the months of like June and October, so perfectly good for those um, from that summer to that pre-fall is how I
Mhm.
like to think of it.
Yeah.
But this actually can be found on a website. If you just go to if you Google search New Jersey seasonality chart, you'll be able to find the chart, and it is printable. So to kind of just go off all of the tips that we had before, to review them a little further, is to look for promotions in the store. Looking at what will be on sale at the grocery store before going can help limit the extra spending on items you don't need. And you can also use this as a tool for when you go to pick out your produce, to see what's on sale and help you plan out your meals. Cardona, I see that you will run for your mangoes. You're very welcome. Hopefully, there's still some there when you go. I'm expecting
Right.
tomorrow there's not going to be any. Next, we have is to plan your meals to help make a grocery shopping list. When you plan meals for the week, it'll help you keep your groceries and the items that you need um, only to the items that you're going to need for the week. It'll also help you create that grocery list. And essentially, your grocery list can help you keep focus on buying only the items that you need versus just buying random items. I have another tip for you guys later on. I'll come back to that one. Grocery lists also help you cut down on the amount of time that you will spend at the store. I know when I have my I use my app, my phone, the ShopRite app. It's so easy.
Mhm.
I love that it tells me what aisle I need to go down. I don't have to spend time just going down different aisles looking for things.
Mhm.
Grocery lists can also help you eat healthier by having your meals planned out by my plate, as you can see. And then it also helps you buy the correct amount to avoid running out of food. The next item that I have for you guys is buying in bulk. And one of the best ways that I always like to buy in bulk is making sure that I'm reviewing that unit price. So unit price can actually be is very simple to find out, and it's typically actually labeled on the prices at the supermarket on like the little price tags.
Mhm.
So what you're going to do, if it's not there, is you take the price that you pay and divide it by how much is in that container. So, for example, as you can see, the price for our brown rice is $3, and it is for a 3 pound container. So, what you do is you divide 3 by 3, and you get $1 per pound, and you can actually see this. Like I mentioned, you can see this on the price tag, so you can then compare. Sometimes there will be a sale on those name brand items that you don't know about until you're looking at that unit price, and you can see that sometimes the name brands can be cheaper than the generic brands, and this is one great way to be able to tell. um, Alrighty, and then our next tip will be buying canned and frozen produce. Like I mentioned before, always important to make sure that we are looking for our canned vegetables, low sodium, no salt added for those fruits and vegetables. And then when you're looking at ingredients, I always recommend to take a look at, turn that around, look at that nutrition facts label, see what those ingredients are, see what those preservative are. For example, if you don't know what something is on that ingredient list, 9 times out of
Mhm.
10, it might not be good and healthy for you. So with our one item that we have here, it is for some frozen strawberries. It's you can see it is strawberries. They are unsweetened and then frozen. So there's nothing to them. They are freshly cleaned, like I mentioned, right after they were harvested. Clean, then flash frozen. So they're at their peak of nutrition for you guys. And then the last tip that I have for you guys, when you are grocery shopping, I don't have a slide for this for some odd reason. When you are grocery shopping, is to try and go food shopping after you've eaten something. Have a
Yeah.
little snack before you go in, because if you're hungry and you're food shopping, 9 times out of 10, you are going to be buying a lot of food that you don't need because your hungry eyes are telling you to get that and start snacking on it in the car. I'm
Mhm.
definitely a culprit of this. I try my best to keep like some snacks in the car just in case I do have to go grocery shopping, or try to
Mhm.
stuff like something in my mouth before I'm out the door, to make sure
Mhm.
that this doesn't
So
happen.
what I have noticed is there's sometimes a basket dedicated for those instances when you're hungry and you're at the store, and then it's usually for kids, but I would say why not for adults, right? So they
Yes,
usually would have like a clementine or a banana at ShopRite, placed on the side that you can help yourself and just grab one so you don't,
that's fantastic. I actually
go
love
over
that
with hunger.
idea.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little something to eat before you go.
Mhm.
Because I know like I said, I'm a big culprit of it.
Mhm.
Try to implement that every time, but sometimes I'm just on the go and there's nothing I can do. Cardona,
Yeah.
yes. Always hungry. If you are hungry, you will pick up something that you don't need. Like for
Mhm.
myself, when I'm a big sweet tooth. I will buy that pint of ice cream if I see that it's on sale and I'm walking past it and I'm hungry.
And Miss May said amen to that. I spend so much money when I'm hungry. I
Great way to
know.
make a little bit extra.
Yep, so we're gonna make it our business to definitely eat before we go shopping, or at least make sure that we have a snack, or maybe get in the habit of having some kind of a granola bar or something like that in your purse while you're shopping.
Mhm. Alrighty. Well, thank you all so much as always. And I do have a little activity for us, like we mentioned before. So this one's kind of like a little yes or no, or like, yeah, I want to try that answer. So I'm actually going to display some tips for you guys. If you guys are already doing it, respond yes. If it's not something for you, respond no. And if it's something that you're willing to try because you think that's a good idea and it'll help you save a little more, give me like a little maybe. So here are our tips and tricks. So when you're at home, um, does anyone make a grocery list and stick to it? Now, this one is very big for me. I love my little ShopRite app. I find that if I run out of something, I'm able to just scan it right away. For example, I ran out of paper plates. I took out that other one and I was just able to immediately scan it, and because I know that's something I need to get later.
Mm-hmm. So Drusilla said no. I said no. Cardona said no. We don't make our lists.
Yes and
May said yes and no, so that's a maybe. Aisha, you know what? Thumbs up for you, girlfriend, because you make
no.
you
Making
make your
those
lists.
choices.
Kudos to you, man. I'm terrible. I don't know. I just haven't never gotten to the habit of
Mhm.
doing that.
It's not, I find that like when I have to write it out, it's a bit more difficult for me to be able to remember it. So, like I said, I love having that app. I'm able to just go around my pantry, my refrigerator, my kitchen, just see what I can scan, see what else we need to get at home.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, thank you everyone. So our next tip and trick is to keep your kitchen cabinets, not just your cabinets, your refrigerator and your pantry organized so you don't overbuy what you don't need.
Do you keep your kitchen cabinets organized so you don't buy what you don't need?
See, now this one's a little tricky for myself as
Hmm.
well because in my pantry, it's long lengthwise. Like it goes
Mm-hmm.
back really far. So I always find that like when I buy something new, it's difficult for me to like take everything out, put the new stuff in the bag, rotate the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I always find that I have to go through like my pantry a little bit more to see what I actually have. I try to like keep everything in rows, but then I feel like I'm not utilizing the space properly. This is easy for me in my refrigerator though because it's easy to just move everything around in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Cardona, thumbs up for you, girlfriend. She says she already does that. She likes to
Perfect.
organize her cabinets. I'm a no, I don't. And it's really because sometimes like the cabinets are super high, so I'm short,
Hmm.
and sometimes there's things like way in the back, and I'll say, "Oh, what's that?"
Hmm.
And then I'll find that I have like two or three of those, whatever it was, like a can of chickpeas or something like that.
Hmm.
So sometimes it ends up to feel like a bonus, right?
Yes, and the other reasoning why you do this is just so you're also able to see what's close to expiration, what's close to best by, sell by
Mhm.
dates, making sure that you're trying to use that first and foremost, so no food has to go to waste. But if it's a practice that you don't currently do, it's a practice to give a try. It definitely helps keep your mind at ease a little bit, but it's something different and it really helps you save a lot of money when you are clean and organized.
Mhm.
Our
So
next,
let's see. Miss May said no. Drusilla said no. And Aisha, I have other adults buying food for themselves and they pack the front with their food. I know
yes,
you're kitty adults.
I get that. I
Oh
100%
man. Yeah,
understand.
that's hard.
It's difficult. It's hard to grasp the concept of like even like when you take something out of the refrigerator, replace it. Like water
Mm-hmm.
bottles, for example. I love having cold water bottles in there. I
Mm-hmm.
find that the person that I live with doesn't follow the same practice as me. So I'm always constantly reminding them, like, hey, how about you put some in the fridge? So when you want a cold water bottle, you have them.
Right, 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 right. Hmm.
Well, thank you everyone again. Our third tip and trick is the one that I mentioned before. It's my favorite. Is to eat before going food shopping. So remember, if you're hungry, you will be tempted to buy more food that is not on your list or more food than what you need at home. Does anyone currently practice this religiously? Because I'm a maybe.
Oh,
Cordona, I loved your comment. Sadly, I get that. You never do eat before you go food shopping, and that candy and chip aisle is always gets you and your 4 year old. I feel that. I do like my chippies. I do like my
yes.
cookies. And that's another
Yeah,
thing
they
that the
get us all the
grocery
time. I need my chippies. Yeah.
that's another thing that the grocery store also does is when you are checking out, they have those. I use Costco food courts as an incentive. That one's great. I do like me a good Costco hot dog or slice of pizza. Um,
Hmm.
Getting back to my thought, when you're checking out, I notice this a lot at like a TJ Maxx or Marshalls, how they have like all those goodies before you leave. That's how they tempt you to buy more items. So to not get stuck in that line while at the grocery store purchasing that extra candy that you don't need. However, if you find it as an incentive for a job well done, I totally understand.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask if you're out there watching, please like and share this information to your family. So, like and share the page so that they can get this information too as to how to stretch their dollars. Okay.
Alrighty, and then
Hmm.
last and final tip and trick when you're at home is to watch flyers for sales and to compare prices among stores. I don't do this. I'm a big ShopRite girl. I like going to one store and done. Um, May, you usually shop after work. I'm the same way. I try my best to limit my time to what I need to do. However, sometimes I do have to go grocery shopping for some
Hmm.
classes. We do live cooking demonstrations. So I find myself at the store, luckily during the day, so it's not as crazy
It's
packed.
crowded, right?
But after the work hours, you always find that it's a little bit more crowded. The lines are a little bit longer, etc.
Let's see.
But definitely, comparing prices among stores is a great way. I'm re-seeing this comment again. That's okay. But when you're comparing prices and you have the ability to go to different stores, you have that opportunity to save a little bit more.
Yeah. Cardona Aguilera, you're watching out for those sales. She's gonna try to watch out for the sales. Yeah, I'll be watching out for those sales as well. I find myself looking a little bit more, and I know of people who would supermarket hop pretty much, and go to every other like look at all the circulars, and
Good
then
for
circle
them.
out what it is that is on sale, and then just go to the different
I
supermarkets and
will
pick
say I am
everything.
jealous of those people. I wish I had that little bit of extra time and
Yeah.
diligence to want to do that. Actually, no, not diligence, patience.
Mhm. Mhm.
Food shopping is one of my least favorite items to do during the week, but it's something we all have to do. And I really hope that just a few of these tips and tricks can help you guys save a little bit more money when you are grocery shopping.
Oh, look, Aisha said she's really trying to grow her own.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I think that's fantastic. I'm trying to grow my own cilantro because I'm tired of buying it and it going bad. So I
Yes.
have like little sprigs of cilantro that are coming up, and I'm just praying that they'll get a little bit bigger by the time
Mhm.
it's September.
I have a little mint tree that, not mint tree, mint herb, like little garden
Hmm.
going on because I love mint. I love making fresh mint tea. I love adding it to my drinks, just as like a nice little refreshment. Um,
Hmm.
Definitely something fun to do at home. Incorporating the children in a garden too is great. May, I see that you like using circulars during the holidays. Yes,
Hmm.
fantastic time to utilize them, but always try to remember that they do have great sales year round. Cardona, you start couponing, especially during this time. Coupons are a fantastic way to save that extra money. Definitely keep them in mind. Don't forget them. If you are going grocery shopping, try to put them near your keys or your wallet so you actually don't forget them at home when you're at the store, and then you get very disappointed in yourself.
Right. Hmm. Miss Elise, yes, we got the we'll share the recipe.
Yes, I love me some black beans. I love beans. They're my favorite. However, speaking of recipe, I do have on the next slide, we will share our recipe out with you guys. So for this recipe, it is a fruity banana smoothie and it's very simple to make. You need a banana, a cup of vanilla yogurt, some sliced peaches, some frozen strawberries, and a half cup of skim milk. And essentially, you take all your ingredients, throw them in a blender, and blend until smooth. Serve and enjoy. And you can actually refrigerate or freeze any leftovers if you find that you're making a big batch. Sometimes I'll
Hmm.
do that with my fruits, with my smoothies. I'll make it a little more so I don't have to go and do it another time. I'll put it in like a little container and then throw it in the freezer. And if I want it the next morning for breakfast, I'll take it out of the freezer, leave it in the refrigerator to thaw. It doesn't thaw completely, but it thaws just enough that it's still that perfect smoothie
Mm.
consistency. You just have to chip at it with a spoon for a little bit. But if we can go ahead and play that recipe video for everyone, please.
Sure.
So there was our recipe video for today. Other things that I like to do with my smoothies, I actually like to make popsicles with my smoothies as well during the summer. So it's a nice little dessert after. I don't really like any of like the seeds or like any of like the pulpness to it sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll throw it through a strainer before I go ahead and put it in my popsicle mold.
Hmm. I never thought about doing that. Freezing the
Very
smoothie.
delicious,
Mm.
especially if you don't want to be drinking a smoothie all the time. It gives you like a nice little refreshing treat.
Yeah, instead of going for the ice cream, go for the smoothie.
Yes.
I love the healthy alternative. I
Yes,
just need to
and
do
instead
it.
of buying them at the grocery store as well, you can make them at home yourself.
Hmm. I blend my leftover watermelon or melons and make smoothies.
Yes.
Yum.
I
Yeah.
even like throwing my watermelon in the blender and making like a watermelon juice with them because you don't even have to add water. They're 100% water as is or
Exactly.
liquid, so you kind of just
Hmm.
make your own juice with it. Alrighty. Um, the beat is catchy. Yes, I know. I'm always dancing to these videos if you don't see me in the background. Alrighty, and our last segment of the evening is our question segment. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to go ahead and type those in. I'd be glad to answer any of them. And as always, I like to always review my plate. It's one of the best things that's out there for us. As you can see, it's important to eat 2 cups of fruit, 3 cups of vegetables, 6 ounces of grains, 5.5 ounces of protein, and 3 cups of dairy. And if you guys would like more tips, tricks, and resources, please go ahead and go to the website choosemyplate.gov. There's so many fantastic recipes out there, as well as, like I mentioned, those tips and tricks to help you save a bit more money at the grocery store. And if anyone ever needs any assistance purchasing or accessing food, please visit our website at cfbnj.org. We're able to assist you in finding the closest food pantry or soup kitchen nearest you. We also have fantastic resources on the website as well, to help with the SNAP benefits application as well as LIHEAP.
Okay. We have a Facebook user out there, and they asked, "How do you juice kale greens?"
Yeah, so with
They
any, if I'm trying to juice any type of product, I add lots of water to it. For kale, I don't really know the measurement to it, but I will fill it up with lots of water in my blender. And because I don't like the texture of like the kale or like the spinach if I am juicing it, I do like to strain it. I'll do a cheesecloth inside of like a metal mesh strainer and juice it that way. And
Mm,
that goes for any fruit or vegetable if you're trying to juice it. Lots of water.
yeah.
Or if just thinking about it now too, if you're trying to make like a soup with anything, if you want to replace water with any type of broth, you can use vegetable, chicken, or beef broth. I know with my Portuguese heritage, we do have a kale soup. So sometimes what I'll do in order to get a little bit of that extra flavor, I will add I'll juice some kale, add some kale to it, but I'll use that broth in order to give it a little bit more flavor. But juicing is always a difficult task.
And Facebook user says, "Thanks."
No problem. I will just move on to the next slide. But again, if you guys have any questions before we end the segment, please feel free to ask them. We are here to answer any of your questions. But while you guys are typing out any further questions or comments, as always, we do have our wonderful survey. If you would like to take the time to provide those answers, the survey is anonymous, very short. It helps us establish what more programming we can offer for our classes, as well as how we can help the community with engagement, as well as any other assistance needs. So we do have here that QR code if anyone would like to take the time to scan it and answer the survey, as well as Erica, if we could input that link for the survey into Zoom and Facebook, I'd greatly appreciate it.
No problem. It's in there.
Thank you.
Maybe you could click the link.
Mm-hmm. So, like I did say before, it is an anonymous survey. I believe it is only 13 questions long, so we will never know who answers it. And it's very short and sweet, about 2 to 5 minutes it can take.
Okay. Well, thank you, Victoria and the Community Food Bank of New Jersey for sponsoring this show for today. And we had a really nice message for you, and it said, "Oh, Miss Victoria, please do come back. We enjoy having you tonight with our PEP community."
Yes, we will be back next Wednesday. I can't remember off the top of my head what day that actually is. It looks like it is the 3rd. We will be covering our 4th lesson with everyone. Would we like to give a little sneak peek of the lesson name?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Let's see.
So our 4th lesson will be on food safety. So we will be discussing different ways to practice food safety, such as knife safety skills, cooking temperatures, food cross-contamination, foodborne not allergens, foodborne illnesses, etc.
Yeah, I think that's an important one, especially when it comes to handling food, meats. I mean, I think my My family is super over obsessive about how you handle your meat and cleaning up the area, all that good stuff. So I think that's something that our community definitely would probably need to learn and hear about.
Of course, and we're always willing and excited to help teach the community.
All
But
right.
I
Well,
want
thank
to say
you again.
yes, thank you everyone for your participation. I love the engagement, and I'm very excited to be back with you guys next week.
Awesome. Thanks again, Victoria.
No problem. Have a wonderful remainder of the week, everyone. Thank you, Erica.
Okay. You too. And I just wanted to remind everyone that we cannot continue to do the work that we do here at Parents Engaging Parents without your donations. So if you can, please donate to pepnj.org. And somebody asked who won. Well, I didn't see anybody that answered that question, so I'm not going to repeat it right now. I'm going to make everybody go back and listen to the beginning of the show because I asked the question, and somebody has to answer that question about two people that I had up on the screen earlier tonight, and to see if you could win tickets to our stage play called Young Harlem. So I actually am gonna share that flyer with you again, and so that you can see what I'm talking about, but you don't know the question yet. So you're gonna have to go back and listen to the beginning of the show if you tuned in a little bit late. But we are gonna be having this fantastic engagement in Newark, New Jersey. It's going to be hosted by Parents Engaging Parents and sponsored by, of course, us, Angela Cares and Combs CPA. And it's MKW Ministries, who's conducting the play itself. And it's going to be on Saturday, August the 20th. Um, our doors are going to open at 3:30 and the show begins at 4:30 sharp. 4:30 sharp is 4:30 sharp. This stage play is going to be about two young men. I'm not going to say their names, and how they worked together and lived together, and what they did in the community later on in life. So definitely tune in, answer those questions, and maybe you'll win tickets to this show. Thank you again for tuning in to Parents Engaging Parents, Beloved Community Check-in. Ha ha ha. Yep, go back and listen so you can get free tickets. If not, you can definitely scan this code up here on the screen, and you can register for the show and enjoy your evening.